Hi, and welcome to this episode of Write With Me at IELTS Juice. As you can tell, today we are going to focus on planning for a Task 1 General Training module, which is a letter. And the prompt or the rubric says, you recently bought a piece of equipment for your kitchen, but it didn't work. I want you to now start thinking about the exact piece of equipment that you purchased. It can be an air fryer, blender, mixer, food processor, whatever it is, and you purchase it from a certain shop. You need to think about the name of the shop, the store, and the location of it, and the time and the dates that you purchased it, how far ago it was. Get the time that you are writing this letter as a standard time and measure how many days ago or weeks ago was it that you purchased that particular piece for your kitchen. You found the shop, but no action was taken. No action whatsoever. It's not like they didn't take any action. They took no action, zero. So you should be very angry at the moment. Write a letter to the manager. That's writing this letter for the manager is an act of it's a good practice, but it comes from the fact that you're furious and you're frustrated and you're angry, and that the shop assistants couldn't help you. They failed to satisfy your order. Now in this letter, remember, you're going to bullet point by bullet point. Describe the problem with the equipment, explain what happened when you found the shop, and say what you would like the manager to do. So, before we begin, because in our standard layout we have an opening paragraph, the body paragraph, and a closing paragraph, and we also need salutation and valediction. But in this particular case, before we go ahead, I need to explain that it depends, especially for your salutation, it depends on the type of shop. So if it's just a local small store with, say, 2, 3, 5 shop assistants and 1 manager, then you can start your letter by saying, Dear Sir or Madam, if you don't know the name of the manager. If you know the name of the manager, then you can say, Dear Mr., Dear Ms., blah, blah. And you address that individual directly, which is, of course, more effective when you address the responsible individual or the responsible party directly by their names. Now, if it's a large organization and there are different managers and there's a hierarchy, like step by step, there are multiple managers managing each other, supervising their work, then you can start by saying to whom it may concern, because you don't know which manager is going to process this letter, and you rightfully don't know because you're just a customer. You're not in the business. You don't know the ins and outs of that particular business. And then we need to also, here we go, we need to decide whether this is a formal or informal letter. We need to set the tone here. And bravo, you guessed it correctly. We just get rid of this and we focus on the tone. The tone of this letter is formal. I'm going to put it here just to make sure that throughout the planning we maintain this formality. It's very important that your tone is consistent throughout. Now, in the opening paragraph, we need an opening statement, and the opening statement is the most important sentence in case for your tone. because this sentence is going to be the first sample. And in this sentence, the tone must be defined. So you need to show that you are frustrated, you are angry, but at the same time, you are very polite and formal. So you don't just go around and say bad words or insults, or you just write bad structures. You want results, but you want results through formal channels and to be very respectful. So the sentence here, the very first sentence you generate for this letter will set the tone for the entire letter. Here, you need to say why you are writing this letter. You are writing this letter because of a problem you had with this shop, because of a problem, because the item that you bought, because you called someone and they didn't do much. And but you don't say everything here. You just need to make sure that at the beginning, you just say that I have an issue with a certain product. And you are writing this for that purpose, for that reason. You may go ahead and even give further information about that. You can say, yeah, I purchased this. You basically need to start talking about the problem. You can say about the problem, what the problem is. And you can start talking about the problem here as further information. Remember, I'm saying problem 1 because that's the minimum. If you wish to talk about more problems, more than one, then you need a separate paragraph. But I suggest you stick to only one problem and just state the problem here and explain what the problem is. Remember, you can go into detail and you can say what elements basically didn't work. You can say, yeah, I plugged it in, it made a loud noise and then it stopped working. Or smoke came out of it. Or it just basically didn't start. Or something else. It worked for 5 minutes just fine, or for 2 days just fine. And for the third time when I had a party, it started to make some noise. You can focus on the problem over here and you can say why this happened. Alternatively, you can even state problems, if there are two, in a separate paragraph. That's what I told you. But you need a topic sentence to say what problems you had. And this just means you need to write more, because after this I also need to introduce 2 more body paragraphs to this. So yes, if you want full development of the problem, you can say just opening statement and you give further information here about the store, about the location, the purchase details, and even you can write a sentence and you can say all the details are enclosed as an attachment to this letter. So you can attach a receipt and I don't know, the payment that was made. Everything you want you can add as an attachment. So you can do that, and then you talk about the exact problem, the sequences, or maybe one sequence. So one sequence of events that took place for this. Okay, but I don't recommend this method. I prefer you stick to just one problem. You state the problem here. You add more information, and then I'm going to introduce the second paragraph. I need a topic sentence. The second paragraph is actually our very first body paragraph. The very first body paragraph, you need to explain what happened. Now, feel free to tell the entire story with details of the time you purchased and you were happy and you brought it home because your neighbor had an air fryer and she was satisfied with it. And so you just, I don't know, you were kind of jealous, or maybe not jealous, but you took this opportunity to invite more friends and you decided to cook this special dish. So it heavily relies on, I don't know, having an air fryer because these guys are on diet. things like that, and then you purchased with all the hopes, it didn't work, then you need to continue by saying what happened. You called the shop. This is the second bullet point. So you called the shop, and when you called, maybe your call didn't go through, nobody picked up. After 10 minutes, somebody picked up, and then they didn't pay attention, they didn't take any records, they didn't take any actions. We have been in this situation for 3-4 days, maybe 1 week. So explain everything in this paragraph. All the details, information, all those elements can come over here. And in the third body paragraph, before I tell you, alternatively, you can introduce another paragraph and you can talk about, let me show you. This is an alternative. You can even talk about the actions you would like this individual to take actually, because this individual is the manager and you wish this manager take these actions. If that's the case and you have a set of actions in mind, you can devote a paragraph here, and in the conclusion you just or in the closing paragraph you just states a closing statement, and that's about it, and you finish it with your valediction, of course. That is one alternative. You can do this if you realize that, the number of words that I needed to write is not 150. You can introduce a second body paragraph, and you can even go ahead with 2 options. You can ask the manager to take 2 actions. Even 1 action is fine, but just make sure that the action is well defined and there are enough details here. If not, you can include everything in your closing statement. In the closing statement, you need to tell the manager what action you believe is best and what action you want him or her to take. And you go ahead and you explain everything here. Remember, these 2 paragraphs can become a little chunkier, a little larger, which is fine. It's totally okay. No big deal. But you can see that already we have minimum 2 sentences each. So they are going to be healthy paragraphs. And you will maintain the formality throughout. We also always finish our letters by expressing gratitude. So you can go ahead and thank them for listening to you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're angry. I know you have waited for so long. No action was taken. I know you might have become embarrassed in front of your friends, or you had to postpone the party to another date because of this. I understand, but still, to maintain the formality, you need to thank them, but you can do it in a very, very interesting way. Like, I would have appreciated if you could take these actions or this action as fast as humanly possible. And by doing that, you can kind of thank them in advance for the actions that they are going to take, or the action that they are going to take. But thanking people, even the ones that you are very, very angry with, is a sign of formality, and it's part of the writing etiquette. And then you come up with a valediction. Best regards, kind regards are the safest. And then you don't have to sign it, but you can write your name in the end. Okay, I think that gives us a very good plan for this Task 1 letter. If you wish to see an improved version of the same rubric, assessed and improved, so both of them, click over here. If you wish to see more essays or letters that are planned like this, click over here, and don't forget, eat healthy.